just hype, and I just, like you said, just pumping money in right now. So I'm wondering if they think this is the bottom or if they're trying to create the bottom and then, build, artificial confidence with either institutions or new investors. Um, you know, just wondering which angle they're
They
coming from.
can try to create the bottom, but they won't succeed. The bottom is going to, doesn't matter what they say or what they try to do, they can't make a bottom come in. The market blows them out of the water. Market does what the market does. What you have to be careful is when it goes up, it's like 40,000 and they start saying it's going to go to 100. That's what you got to be careful of. That's like a false thing. If they were saying down here, "Oh, we're going to sell," then I'd say, "Yeah, they're trying to get a bottom in because we're way down." And then they're going to announce that, "Oh, we don't like it. We think Bitcoin is going to go to 6,000, so we're out. We're selling." Yeah, that would be an attempt to create a bottom, but certainly not. We're buying down here. We think this is the future. Blah blah blah. All the technology shit. They're 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 keeping investors. They're stroking investors, is what they're doing.
Like
So they're
breadcrumbing them pretty much.
yeah, yeah. Because if they don't, investors could pile out of their stock, their fund, whatever, and then uh, that's not good for them.
I wonder how much more capital he's got, if anybody knows, to continue to keep his position, buying his position without getting liquidated. Um, and I can't remember what that line was, about 20,000, 21,000, something like that. I wonder how long he's got to go, how much capital he's got to deploy.
I would assume that they have enough available capital to go all the way down and keep buying. But you never know. Um, if that liquidation did occur, yeah, you would be pretty much near a bottom. That's when bottoms occur. When you get blown out of your account and the broker liquidates your trade, that's the bottom.
Yeah, and that's what I'm wondering too, is like, is he that in with the legacy that they won't do that to him? Or is he just another one of their pieces on the chessboard that they see as a potential hand to play when they're ready to play it? So that way they, they make the call. I mean, yeah, look, the market sentiment is the number one factor that I pay attention to in the market. Even though you got all the charts, all the technical data, this and that, it's really sentiment. And if sentiment can be swayed, then it doesn't matter. All those other factors really don't matter, because people in general, they don't make rational decisions in a group, right? This is where FOMO comes in, right? So I'm wondering if he's that buddy with them and they got his back, or if he's gonna get played too, and like you said, be used to make that bottom.
Yeah, they could purposely push him to show his hand. It's all bullshit. He's not Bitcoin. He has nothing to do with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It's a much bigger fish than him, and whether he exists or not doesn't matter. It's they could do all that stuff and try to put him out of his position, and he comes up with more capital. But Bitcoin's its own animal. He doesn't control Bitcoin. It's always going to do what it does. It will always go to what the chart says. The chart doesn't lie. is most people don't know how to read a chart. There's a lot of aspects on charts
Right.
that most people just don't know, and there's fundamentals within a chart also that people don't know, like where all the Bitcoin was bought, and you have to pay for that information on the charting packages to see that.
This
So
is another question I have. Is there any way, like, is there a source to find out the OTC trades? Like, can we can we track those? Can we track like what JP Morgan is doing and these other institutions? Can we track their OTC trades? I don't know if that exists, uh if there's something out there that can give us that info, or if that's just we just gotta like track it down manually.
yeah, I don't know if they have those dark pools available on any data sites because they do those
Man,
kind of trades all the time.
that sounds like a job for Victor over here. Because that'd be really interesting. I'd be watching that every day.
I mean, especially in the crypto world, you know, if uh, if you're in Hex or something and you don't want to move the price, and you find a whale who wants to get out at 10 cents, and you have a huge position that is going to take it down 3 cents that you want to dump, rather than go to the market, you can do a side deal with the whale and nobody would ever know.
Yep, even split it up in different, you want to do the transaction, but you don't want it to be that noticeable. So you split it up, you divide it into like 6 different wallets. It could really fly under the radar. I wonder if some people, if what they do to kind of keep it even more under low key, if what they do is instead of actually doing a transaction necessarily like a trade or a transfer, is they just create some wallets in an account that they have, right? So like say MetaMask, for example, and they create like 8, 10 wallets in there, and then they disperse whatever they have in between their different wallets, and then just pretty much hand the key over to somebody. So there's actually not really technically like a trade going on there. It's not like a transfer that's really noticeable. I mean, that's really ghost. I wonder if that's happening. I don't see why it wouldn't be. If it's not, it probably is going to be now because I just said it, but that'd be interesting.
Definitely.
So instead of trading in the actual tokens themselves, you actually basically be swapping keys, ownerships. I mean, it comes with a bit of a risk. There'd have to be some serious trust going on there, because the previous person has access or whatnot. But I guess in some wallets you might be able to change some of that. I don't know, but I guess at the higher levels, kind of there's like that unspoken rule of engagement where there's the line you just don't cross because you're at such that high level, that trust is automatically given. It's there. It's just a thing they don't do. Um, And then really that's all they're doing is just swapping keys around, swapping ownerships of these wallets, and not even really moving the coins if they don't want.
Right.
Because if you think about it, actually, it's kind of what the banks do in the repo market, right? So, you know, when they have to do their balancing, that's almost what they do. It's like one big bag keeps getting swapped around to the different banks just so they can make their sheets look good, or even out. And in reality, it's just the one big bag, like a hacky sack being punted around. That's crazy.
Uh, So, okay, I'm going to sell you my keys, and you can take control of that account. There you go. Oh, wait, I still have the keys. I'll just steal it back.
Right, but that's what I'm saying at a high level, at an extremely high level, right? If you did that, I mean, you'd be it'd be economic suicide for you, because it's like, when we're down here in the retail, there's things there's a psychology down here that's just, it's not the same up there. At that level, those things are just unknown. They don't do. It's an unspoken rule of engagement, because if you do, it's such a small group anyway. Nobody will ever work with you again. It'd be political, economic suicide to do that, because then you can never operate at that level again. Just, you're kicked out of the club now. You know what I'm saying? So yes, of course, that's a risk that could happen there, but
But
in
crypto's
these
different.
little,
Yeah, crypto's so transparent, though. That's the only thing. And you can follow wallets unless you mix it up in Tornado Cash.
but if the wallet's not moving, you know what I'm saying? Like, in a situation like this, nothing's moving. That's track. You could look at that wallet and it's just sitting inert. It's doing nothing. However, ownership and possible leverage of it could be transferring. But if anybody does find a source for OTC trades, please do share. I'd be really interested in checking that out. No, another metric, another data source I think would be interesting would be one that shows all governmental involvement. Like when some government agency, right, when they get their hands on something, when they're involved in some type of a trade, like Russia just did they just did some transaction, right, in DeFi. It'd be interesting to track that metric as well and see how they're uh, operating within the space.
So Hex ran up for like 3 days, a couple days ago, right? And it hit 5.5. And I'm like, I'm selling. So I sold, and it dropped and dropped to 5, then 4.9. I said, okay, that's it. Buy back. And I made a 10,000 Hex. But if I would have held until today, it would have been like 60,000 more. So there's little opportunities, but they're hard to hit, these little opportunities, because it could shoot up, go sideways so much.
Yeah, I'm thinking like right around 3, maybe just under. I've heard some people talking about, down into the 1 cent range, but I don't know. I think it's kind of hard to see that, but I don't think it's impossible. Um, I do think we probably got a little bit more to go. We haven't reached max pain yet, so I think there's still a little bit more to go.
Yeah, a week ago I put an order in it for 2.3, a limit order for 7 days. That never hit. Turned around, went up to 5.5. So yeah, I see a channel sideways at probably, I don't know, 3.5 to 7 for months. But we'll see. It's such a young, there's not much data on Hex. It was either just
Yeah,
running hot.
on
Right?
top of that, the supply, right? The available supply or circulating supply, it's not as much as people think because the wallet that's holding the majority of it's not doing anything with it. So in reality, there's a lot less of it. It's actually way more scarce. So, and I think also that does give it the ability for it to be moved, right? Even if it's just a little bit, just a few points, it's much easier to move it like that because you don't have as much volume to try to work through, to get up or to get down. So it's almost like if somebody was watching the orders and said, okay, well, there's the majority of the orders are at 2.5 or whatever. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pump it back up at like 2.8 or 2.9. And just right before they're able to get in. But the good thing is, I think when this happens, right, and then we do come back down, I think what this is doing is it's solidifying, it's galvanizing those more serious, long term holders, the ones that want they want to do the long-term staking after the launch. So I think it is ultimately it's good for Hex because we'll have more consistent, we'll have more stable holders rather than the traders, people who just want to get in and get out, get in and get out. So I think overall it's actually it's long-term positive, net positive for Hex. But I do think we're going to get lower. I hope we do get lower. Um, if we hit down under 1 cent, man, I'm backing the truck up. That's it. I'm all in, all chips in. That's it. There's nothing else I'd want more than Hex on a double. When the launch happens or the fork.
Yeah, then you're doubling at 2 cents. Buy at 1, you're double at 2. Throw 30 in, you got 60. So I don't see that happening. It might though.
Yeah, it's a long shot. It's definitely a long shot, but we can dream. I think we might hit somewhere like I think you're right about 2.7. That sounds about right to me. Just under 3, I think. But then again, will they? Will the influencers? Will they let it happen? Will they let us get that? I don't know.
I don't see why it's following Bitcoin down to the shit. So if Bitcoin goes to freaking 11, that means Hex is gonna go sub penny. Like what the hell? It's just weird. Everything's just following. It's like everybody's selling. Just doesn't
Yeah,
make
those are the
sense.
ones. Those are the ones that those are the ones I'm talking about. The ones that to get out, to move out of their positions, so that way the more serious ones can go ahead and buy it up. So I think maybe we still have too many too many traders, too many people who want to, the first thing they want to do is dump when it hits 5 cents and then 10 cents, and you know what I'm saying, like they want to do that. I think we want to get more of those stronger holders, so that way they will hold through the 5 cents and the 10 cents and the 20 cents, because that just makes it, those candles will be even stronger. And then we can break past those resistance, that we can test them and break past them. And then the sentiment's going to, be very bullish. I think we do have a potential where we will see a divergence from Hex and Bitcoin. I don't think it's yet, but I think it can happen. I think it's just going to happen when we get more of the stronger holders in Hex and more of those traders and the dumpers, out. When they get worried at these low numbers.
Yeah, like Uniswap did a double from June 15th in 2 weeks. There's going to be a lot of trading on PulseX, hopefully. A bunch of traders come in, getting really cheap trades, just going nuts. Trade.
Hey, did anybody follow up on that story about Mashinsky trying to go on the run, or is he still on the run, or anybody follow up with that?